we often we have a very kind of limited understanding of how we think about where we stand in the world. And we often compare ourselves to people around us, or we don't really think about it. Like you're just saying, like, yeah, there are people at Penn State or friend groups or whatever, right? But look, man, first off, those of you who are religious, now, I don't have to go there, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to offer that we take another perspective and step out from a wider perspective, larger, and look not at just people right around us, but look at actually the planet. Look at everybody, because that's what we really ought to be comparing ourselves to, right? Now, a lot of us haven't had many opportunities to travel and to be around, to travel around, to see, right? So for me, when I think about my position in the world, I think about the world's a big place, right? Because I've been to, like 50 countries and had lots of experiences and lived abroad or much of my life. So like I have a different kind of experience. So I want to get you to do that. And when you do that, here's what it takes to be an elite here's what it takes in the world, right? So the left column is the percentage of adults in the world, in the entire world, who 1% of adults are, so of those who have $1 million or more, and this isn't just dollars like cash in the bank, right? This is like the value that you have in your home, the value that you have in your stocks and your retirement accounts and assets, basically, right? $1 million, if you're an adult that has access to $1 million, like so my wife and I, so we're a household, my wife and I, right? So at this stage in our lives, we've accumulated a lot of money because we have retirement accounts. We've been working at Penn State a long time, and one thing after another. We have a house, we have this, we have that. But we've never, we're not trying to make a lot of money. But suddenly we're like, oh my God, we're really part of the elite of the world. And it really doesn't take a lot to be elite in the world. And what I'm going to say is, most of your parents are probably in the 1%. Meaning that if you divide up your family's assets and you divide it by one parent or two parents or whatever it is, you're going to have on average $1 million. And if they don't have $1 million, they're going to have $1 million shortly, as soon as they pay for your schooling and all that, if they do. And then the 11% of people in the world have between $100,000 and $1 million. 11% of the people. That's everybody in this classroom. I'm going to say, even you, bro. That's going to be basically everybody in this classroom, which means that everyone in this classroom, you have parents who are in the top 12%, the richest 12% of the world, which is really a lot of money. You see, you can see how you shift your thinking with that, right? So if you say your parents are comfortable, well, once they pay off your out-of-state tuition and all that, your parents are probably going to be in the top 1%, right? I mean, when they get to the end, if they...
But then they have a younger sibling.
They have a younger sibling, so they pay that person's off. Well, make them go to community college in New York or something. But look here. Poor, 33% poor, meaning the assets of $10,000 to $100,000. And then, really miserable. There's nobody who's miserable, and there's no one probably who's poor at all in here. So the bottom 88% of the world, so wherever you stand... Everyone in this classroom, basically, 88% of the world's population is underneath you. And for many of you, 99% of the world's population is underneath you, or at least underneath your parents. So when you start thinking are your parents comfortable, it's like you could easily just say, no, actually, my parents are really rich. From a certain perspective. And I say this because it's really it's a nice way to start thinking about, well, first off, it's just a provocative way to think about things, right? Because it means we have to hold a mirror up somehow in some different kind of way.
I mean, when I was looking at this, I wouldn't have considered myself to be the 1% of the world before I knew this, but it's also pretty shocking because you can compare yourself to other people that have private planes and I don't know, Elon Musk and stuff like that.
Dude, exactly. That's what happens.
So
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Compared to them, it's I'm pretty much broke, but
yeah.
if you put it this way, it's like I'm the 1%, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. We never look down. We look like I'm not going to look down and see that I'm standing on the shoulders of 99% of the world's population, because that just doesn't make sense. First off, why would I do that? And secondly, because I don't look down like that. Because we're trained to look up. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm not rich. It's like, oh, but when you have certain experiences, right? And like, yo, man, dudes, you just have certain experiences that you know what the 99% is, and you know what the 55% is. And you know what that means. And it doesn't mean to turn around and say, oh, I'm so thankful, I'm grateful that I don't have, which is not to downplay that, right? But it's not about that. It's just about what happens to a human being when we have some kind of realization like that, and our minds just open in a new way. The potential for growth and understanding is profound. Is profound. So, Jada. So, so you're part of the oppressed side of America. You're a black woman. Mm-hmm. You're the oppressed American, right? And, this is how we talk about, it's very common. We talk about, the racist, oppressive system in the United States, right? Meanwhile, you're standing on 99% of the world's shoulders. And
my parents are.
Your parents are, right. But you will be, right? But you will be, because you're here, you're clear, you're gonna rise, you're gonna do well, and you're gonna be standing on the 99% shoulders. And it's like, whoa. And if you're not careful, you'll continue to have that dialogue in your mind about being oppressed. For you, it's because, my family doesn't have a private plane, so I'm oppressed. I mean, you didn't say that, but you know what I mean? But you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not careful, that's where you go, and then it's kind of like, man, yeah, I don't know. So you're rich. Yeah, what's it mean? You're rich, man. You just found out. My family's rich. Oh, my God. Next time you're somewhere when people start talking about the 1%, you make sure you... What's it mean? You're in the 1%, dude. Your family is. How do you feel about that?
I think personally, as you said specifically a black woman, right? I never really consider myself oppressed because of the opportunities that I've been given. Mm-hmm. So it's just a change of narrative. So yeah. In terms of oppression is someone that's not able to go to a college that's mm-hmm. known, someone who doesn't have the opportunities that I have. So I don't really consider myself oppressed. Just as much as I don't consider myself rich, I have to work for the things that I get. Mm-hmm. And if I mm-hmm. was rich, I wouldn't have to do so. It's just those things that make me realize, yes, I am considered, because of my parents' place and their successes, a bit higher than others, but technically I consider myself down because I don't have any form of income.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Okay. So here, let me say the following. I was just having fun with the narrative about being oppressed because, it's clear you don't think that, and okay, but that is a narrative that's out there, right? And I think the issue, though, is that you. Look, first off, I'm not trying to force any of us into a place. My only job right here is to just open us, right? To say, yeah, but everybody works for what they have, right? So, you work for everything you have, but the people who get the private plane work for that. Everybody works for it. Nobody just is given stuff. Everybody works for it. So, the point being, this idea that, yeah, I'm in the 1%. That's the idea. I'm in the 1%. And it's now if we take that narrative and we work with it, it just it just changes some things. It's going to change some things. I don't know what it changes.